Dan, 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 Celtic
Celtic
balls.
balls.
Woo.
Woo.
That was a different one. I liked it.
Good, yeah.
All right. So big week, big week. It's VeeCon week.
It is VeeCon week. I leave in just a few hours. I'm so excited. I'm
Oh
excited
my
for that,
gosh.
but
Just a few hours. And how long is the flight there? Do you have any layovers?
I do. Because I booked with Southwest because I have lots of points through them and I'm cheap.
Mhm.
So I do have a layover in Midway. So it's not really far out of the way, but I think it's not even an hour layover. So
Okay.
I leave here the boarding is at 5 a.m. and
Okay.
it takes off at 5:30. And I am in Minneapolis by 9 something.
All right.
But the thing was, it was either I had to book it super early like that, or like if you went later in the day, then it had like 2 or 3 stops or like really long layovers. So then I was traveling all day. And
Right.
I booked it before I got before we got the schedule, that it was mostly just in the evening on Thursday, but I'll be able to get there. I'll be able to hang out and, scope everything out. So, that'll be really good.
Yeah, I think right now at least, and we'll see if it continues that way, everything's working out well for me.
But
So, I picked up my ticket, but I got it for 7 p.m. Thursday, which is way later than I wanted it to be. I wanted to get there early Thursday, but that was just the timing and the cheapest flight by hundreds of dollars. So I
yeah,
just went with it nonstop. So it's hard to beat nonstop.
that's awesome.
And my schedule is kind of weird because my daughter has tennis regionals was scheduled for Wednesday. And so I was like, crap, I'm already going to miss work Thursday and Friday. Am I going to have to miss work Wednesday? Well, yesterday they changed their tennis to Thursday,
Oh no. Oh, so you get to see it then.
but I get to see it because I made the flight later. So I'm like,
There you go. It all works out
awesome.
perfectly.
I'm like, that worked out just the way I wanted it. Now, that being said, I'm kind of excited about the speakers on Sunday, and I'm supposed to fly back Sunday morning. So I may change that ticket yet, but I'm still
Okay.
going to wait until we get there and see like what the feel is.
How
But
everything's going and all that.
yeah, but it's Seth Green is the Sunday speaker, and I thought that might be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
So I was like, well, maybe I'll reschedule that flight, but I'm not going to do it right away. I'm going to stick with the plan, sticking
There
with
you
the
go.
plan.
There you go.
So,
That's smart.
but yeah, I'm super excited. So what are you going to do Wednesday when you get there? What time will you get in Minneapolis?
I think 9:20. I'd have to look at the
Okay.
something like that. It's 9 something or other. I don't know if I
9
have it.
something or other.
Yeah. And I'll have to, what I'm thinking of doing, because I was like, do I smash everything in and just kind of like go, with like bring a smaller like
Oh,
carry on and just
right.
like, all that. But then because I wanted to bring extra pair of shoes because I wanted to bring my Gary V's 5s and I have to bring my gift goats. So, that sort of stuff. I'm like, I'm just going to bring my big suitcase. I'll Uber to the hotel. I mean, it's a nice hotel. I'll just drop my bag off and be like, I'll be back to check in later.
Oh,
Because
right.
we're staying at a Radisson Blue.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. That's super cool. And it's right there, isn't it? Right on the
I
thing.
think it's like half mile. So about what we do for Origins.
Did you
As long
say a
as
half
it's not,
mile?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So as long as it's not raining, we'll be golden.
Even if it's raining.
Yeah, well, I think it's only supposed to rain Thursday night, but I think I'm only bringing 2 kilts.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm bringing a kilt for Sunday.
I really need to get a hold of those guys and interview them. That's one of the interviews I want to do.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see them. Maybe that's a reason to go to Origins. I think they'll be at Origins.
Mm-hmm.
So
Should we
go
hit
to
Origins
Origins
for a day
and
or two before you come down?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Go, well, actually, Origins is like the week before. I'd have to look at it, but go to Origins and get fitted for a kilt and like, tape it
Yeah,
so that then we can use it on the podcast and then interview them on the podcast and like put in clips and stuff.
that's a
So
good idea.
that might be fun. That might be fun times. I
Look at
feel
you
like I'm
went ahead.
so low.
So what I mean, you're talking about doing some fun stuff, and we had mentioned it last week on TikTok. And
Mhm.
there's a TikTok that I've wanted to make,
Yeah.
but I decided today that I'm gonna do it on the channel, and then we can always clip it, or I can do it separately. But
Right.
especially with the price of Bitcoin, I mean, it's come down a lot, but you see so many people making comments about the guys who bought the pizza for whatever Bitcoins it was. Like they talk about that guy a lot, or people who spent Bitcoin.
Okay.
But they never talk about the people who are spending their Bitcoin on their porn subscriptions. Like where are they still in their basement? Like what's going on?
Where are those guys now?
No
Where
one
are
ever
those
talks
guys?
about them.
Nobody talks about the guys who use their Bitcoin for interesting things.
It's always the pizza guys.
It's always the
So
pizza. Who cares about that?
I thought that'd be a great TikTok, but
Right?
I
Like
guess
what happened to the guy who bought his crack using Bitcoin?
exactly.
Where's that guy now?
So yeah, I thought that was a good one.
I have a tech director, and I remember years ago when my students were like playing with Bitcoins and researching it,
Mhm.
that she was like, "Oh yeah, I got a Bitcoin once, like it was like a prize." And they gave it to me. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And she's like, "Yeah, it's on like a flash drive somewhere." And I remember like 3 or 4 years ago, so
Mhm.
not very long ago, but I was like, "Hey, do you still got your Bitcoin?" She's like, "I lost that forever ago. I have no idea where it is."
And that was
Uh,
what, maybe only $1,000 then?
Yeah. Well, and now I like tease her because like when it was at 60, like I said, like, "Hey, did you find Bitcoin?" Like, that's a 60 G coin
Well, they
sitting
talk
somewhere
about
in
how
a
many are
flash drive.
lost because there's only so many Bitcoins, and it's a decent percentage where they say are just lost forever. Like,
Yeah.
mhm,
Which so the scarcity gets
yeah,
even more scarce, right?
yes,
Like
it's even more
that's kind
scarce.
of the thing.
Right.
That's craziness.
So
Craziness.
I guess today we were really gonna talk about VeeCon. I haven't bought anything, although I did. So I've been going back and forth. We've all been talking about this as far as, do you dollar cost average? Do you panic sell and buy back in when the price is
Right.
lower? Like all these things. And our friend Jason made a choice, and yeah, I hope his choice works out really well, and he's super happy with it. So that's what's important. But
Yeah.
today, listening to Lifer made a comment, and he was breaking it down to what percentage you are down compared to how much you have to make it back. And it's very basic math, but it's nothing I had ever thought about before.
Yeah. So what did he
Because
say?
he's talking about setting your stop loss at 10%. So if
Sure.
you go down 10%, basically you need 10% to make it back.
Yeah.
But if you go down 50%, you need to double that price to get back.
Yes.
So, and then breaking it down to 90 and 100, like not 100%, but 95,
Right.
where you've got to like, 1,000x or 100x to get back to where you were. Now, I have faith in a lot of these tokens that they can do that, but he was like, Lifer's like, I would panic sell. If you're debating what to do, he's like, put it into Ether Bitcoin, or there's a couple others where are more stable in his opinion. I mean,
Sure.
he didn't tell anyone to do that. He said, for myself, I would do that. So
Right.
I did that. All my coins on, because I'd been debating it so much. All my coins in KuCoin, I just converted them over.
It's interesting because my wife asked me the other day, maybe 2 days ago, we were driving somewhere and she's like, "So did you lose all of our money that you put in?" Because listeners will remember way back in like October, I was like, "Hey, give me, I forget how much, but I'm going to double that, you know, but in a month." And I didn't double it. I was up like 60%, 70%.
Yes.
And she was like, yeah, just keep it in there, keep it in there. So she was like, hey, have you lost all of it? I'm like, well, no. And she's like, how no when everything's down? I'm like, because you only lose money when you sell it. She's like, you
Yeah.
didn't use that logic when you were positive. And I'm like, yes, I did. I go multiple times on the podcast. I said, it doesn't count until you sell it. So
Yes.
it's no gain, it's no losses. It'll make you feel good in your spreadsheet and it
Yep.
makes you feel bad in your spreadsheet, but it's not real
Mhm.
until you sell it. And I go, so no, I haven't lost any because I haven't sold it. And she's like, are you going to sell it? And I'm like, no. The entire point when I got all except for that October one,
Yeah.
all the rest I put in was my long-term place. And I've talked to like you and a few other people, like when you guys say, ooh, I'm holding it long-term or I'm diamond handing, like, what does that mean to you? Like we talk, nobody's asked me, right?
Yeah.
Like what mine is. But when I hold something long-term, I'm talking about like long enough that I forget I own it is what long-term is to me, right? Like my AMC, I bought AMC. It went way, way down, crashed, right? Went
Mhm.
up, crashed. I didn't even remember I had it. And then I don't know, it was like somewhere in the summer when I wanted to play money. I
Mhm.
said, oh yeah, I have that AMC. And oh yeah, AMC is crazy high now, right?
Mhm.
And a good example of not what Leifer's talking about, but
Yeah.
something that, I probably lost 60, 70%, but it did 10 or 15x.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And so I was able to get out and take that money and put
Mhm.
it in ETH where I could lose it there instead.
Yep. Well, that's what the stuff that I had in my KuCoin account were random trades. Like I was
Right.
like, okay, and I didn't set my stop losses. So, I tax harvested probably 8 grand if they would have come back to even.
Right.
But I was like, you know what, this is fine. So I have a little bit in there now. It's just I'm debating on putting it, whether I put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum. But that was a good choice for me. Now I haven't gone like, there's no way I'm going to touch my ADA. There's no way I'm going to touch my HRP. I'm not going to, I mean, yes, I make the Town Star each day, but why would I sell the Town Star at 4 cents or whatever it is right now? What is
Right.
Town Star right now?
Like,
Four
what's the
cents right now.
point of selling it
Yes. I don't
at
need
that
the
low?
money, thankfully.
That's what I keep saying. I'm like, if I needed the money, that's what I said to my wife. I'm like, if we needed the money, this would be a totally different issue. But
Hmm.
that money's just sitting there. And so if it's down, it's down. If it's up, it's up. I wasn't planning on selling it anyway. I go, I'm sad. I'm sad. Looks returns is so low right now.
Well, so have you looked at it recently?
Not in a day or two. The last time I looked, it was 43%.
Yeah, I was back up to 80 today.
Okay, well, that's better.
Here,
I
where
mean, still, it's 43%.
yeah, exactly.
But what I was really sad about was looking at my total, which was down not quite 50%.
Yes, that's happened with me as well.
And
And
I
yeah,
was like,
I'm
ooh,
making
that
$35
hurts.
a day right now on my looks.
Yeah. Which again is still, you're making 35 bucks a day. Like you can't be sad about that. And so that's, I'm still feeling pretty good. The things I'm not feeling good about right now are actually NFTs,
Hmm.
right? I think a lot of the projects, because they had all this money and the way they used it when times were good, they didn't prep for when times were bad.
Yeah, are you going to talk about that right now, or is that going to be something we're going to bring up this weekend? Or
Well, I think we
because
can
you
talk.
had some interesting news.
Well, Lucky Manakee is one of the big ones. I just finished my Lucky Manakee coffee today, which, by the way, it tastes way better. I'm making it a different way and it tastes way better. I liked it before, but I really like it the way I'm making it now. But anyway, they were on the Discord and somebody was like, hey, it's really quiet in here. What's going on? And the main people were like, we're just out of funds. Like we've got a couple things that we're trying to get through, but we don't have funds. And everything is so hype driven, and without the hype, we can't get our feet under us to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, they're like, we're not gone. We're here. We just literally don't know what to do. So we're just sitting here.
Yeah.
And, and so then you're like, okay, so is Manakee dead then? But they said they still had stuff going, but it's not moving hard.
Yeah. That's the part where it's just like, and just like you said, if they weren't really planning, and a lot of things are hype driven now, I think Manakees have done some really cool stuff. It's kind of, it's one of those things that just hasn't caught on yet.
Right. Well, I'm still waiting on the whiskey. Like they bought those barrels of whiskey, right? So those should still be coming through. Either way, they should still come through, right?
Yes.
So there's things like that you're like, okay, that's going to happen no matter what.
Yes.
But going along with that, you've also got to look at, like, you can't sell them now. So
No.
you might as well just hold them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird. The maidens is another one, right? Like that's still there, but I'm pretty sure they burned all the extra maidens.
Yeah.
Like I think, which I remember they were like, well, this will be good for you holders because we're going to make them even more rare because we're just burning the extra maidens.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping those projects would get more hype.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the problem. Like that's a project I was never going to sell.
Yes.
So like it doesn't help me one way or the other. It's just a feel good thing.
Yeah, it's not as good for the developers either if someone is not selling them.
Right. They're not, well, it's kind of like the sunnies and the nails. Like I'm not planning on selling those, which means there's no real market. Speaking of, did you see M's on the other hand have been skyrocketing?
No, I haven't.
I don't know what they're at right now. You'd have to look, but they I mean they're movers.
Really? That's awesome. Well, not that it doesn't really.
People kept clearing the floor. So every time anybody who's in the project felt like things were going good, like they had extra money, they bought them.
That's
right?
awesome.
Like nobody was going to let them go near mint. And when Ethereum dropped, it was getting below mint. And so people were just scooping them all up.
Oh, that's awesome. Actually, it's funny. The Gary V was just talking about that today, about people buying, about the companies buying their own floor.
Yeah.
Like, because he's so honest in everything that he does and tries to be very transparent. Yeah, 0.2 or almost 0.29, 0.289.
Yeah. So you're talking about 0.3. We bought it for 0.12. So we're almost to 3x.
Yeah. But he's like, I think about it. He's like, because I think that VeeFriends are a great investment. So why wouldn't I, with ETH where it is right now and with the floor where it is, he's like, but why wouldn't I buy the bottom 100 and use them as like charity, this and that. But
sure.
His concern is things aren't really clear, like how that's allowed and things like that as well, or how that would be taken by the community.
Well, and it's something I was talking about. Like I told you the other day, I looked at VeeFriends again because the floor, I don't know what it is now, but it was like 8, I think.
Yeah, it was right around there this morning.
And I'm like, okay, if it's at 8, here's what's crazy. So I was like, oh man, it looks like I made the right choice kind of getting rid of the bat because I sold the bat for 10, right? 9 or 10. And I'm like, now it's 8. So it eventually went down. And then I thought, holy crap, I actually did really well if you look at it in terms of dollars.
Yes.
Because I did it at, well, like right now, if the floor is 8 and ETH is 2, that's 16 grand. And when I sold mine, it was 40 grand. So I'm like, holy cow, I could buy back in for half the dollar amount.
Yes.
but people are getting rid of them because they think the value's gone because you got the first VFriend conference, you already got the tickets, which is why a lot of people bought it, and you've got VFriends 2 already.
Yeah.
So people are letting those things go down because they probably think the value's used.
Mm-hmm. People do stuff like that.
And I don't know if that's true or not. I think Gary Vee tends to make things worthwhile.
I agree.
So I think he'll just do something else, right?
Yeah. And maybe he'll come out and say, hey, I'm gonna sweep the bottom whatever. And they're gonna
Right.
be my personal collection.
Yeah. And maybe he does give them his charity. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. But
it's
they would be out of the way.
But yeah, we've talked about this. A lot of people have said this. Like, you have to, these NFTs are really going to have to perform and be something else besides just a PFP in
Yes.
order to survive. He was even
They've
talking.
got to do something more. Right. Well, that's what I'm looking at. Like Lucky Manakees, they're doing more, but they're having a really hard time getting their message out, which is one of the things I talk about the whole time. How do you get your message out
Mhm.
to the NFT people?
Well, there's been a lot of stuff going on with the Yetis recently, and it's probably because I follow them on Twitter, but I see Yeti stuff every day on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm like, okay, sweet.
You're like, all right, then.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. But we are detracting from talking about VeeCon.
I think we're going to have a ton of VeeCon info.
We're going to have a lot of VeeCon material.
I'm really excited. I mean, obviously, we've been talking about it for a year, like what's it going to be like and everything like that from when we first got them.
Right.
And then now the time has come. So it's going to be this weekend. I'll be there tomorrow. We're playing D&D tomorrow. So I'm not going to super late. I'll probably have to nap though. I'm only going to get a couple hours of sleep.
Well, the thing that's nice is we'll get done with D&D at 11 and you'll get done with D&D at 10.
That's true.
So you'll actually be ahead of the game.
But yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be great to hang out with you as well.
Oh my gosh. I told my wife the other thing I said about, with stuff going down, I go, we're going to VeeCon. And she's like, so? And I'm like, the number of connections you can make at a conference like that are crazy huge. And people might have ideas for us, or we might network with people who can do awesome things. I go, there's a lot of potential in a conference like that. And you and I have seen that at so many conferences we've gone to, right? I mean, we met the Hideous Laughter people and made huge connections with them. And, that's turned out to be just good fun, but that's something that they've inspired us. How about that?
Yes, very true.
So they inspired us enough. I was like, I wonder if I should make stickers and take to VeeCon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you?
No, I thought about it. I still could, right? Because I'm not leaving until Thursday night.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I could easily, run to Kinko's and make a whole bunch of stickers and start passing them out at VeeCon.
Yeah. We have to come out with we have to start the pitch some way to make people really uncomfortable. Like I felt with that. I was like, oh no.
You were like, oh, they're Jehovah's Witnesses for sure. That was a good time right there.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was a good time.
It was an amazing time. But yeah, we'll have lots of great updates and everything. So
yeah, so stay tuned with us here. I'm sure we'll do some stuff here. I imagine we'll do a Twitter Spaces at some point or an Instagram Live. And we'll definitely be tickety talking. So stick with us for lots of updates and hopefully we'll give you guys some good content. I know I'm super excited. So people were sad about their not being allowed to bring food in, and I'm like, no way. I love eating stadium food.
I didn't realize that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't want to carry my water bottle with me.
For sure. Well, people, join us, enjoy, and you guys have a great night. This is Ballbuster signing off.
With the Dragon Jerry, love you all.